Ivan Murphy from Harena Resources joins me now. Harena's had some news out today. Good morning, Ivan. How are you?
Morning, good to see you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Fine. Now, tell us a little bit about the fundraising news which you put out today, supplementing the August the 4th news.
Yeah, so this is just the completion of the full amount we had intended to place at this time. This is the maximum of our authority under our existing authorities within our structure as a LSE main board company. So we could place up to 20% of our shares in issue, and we've just done that now. We've went to about 82 million because we were just going to do 80 million. We did 82 million at the end because we were a little bit oversubscribed, and that's just as much as we can do right now. So it was just the second piece of that placing. So that's now done, and that was our intention. That's what we announced to the market the week before the fourth that we would do, and so now we're delighted. So that kind of gives us a nice bit of capital, a bit more than 1.2 million gross pounds. So it's a really good. That's a good number for us to get these next few things done over the next couple of months. So delighted with the response, delighted at the quality of the people who've invested, and shortly there'll be some RNSs, setting out who those new larger shareholders are. So I think that'll be good news for the market too.
Yeah, so you mentioned the new investors, some existing and some new, I gather.
Yeah, some existing topping up, and then a couple of new ones. I mean, nearly all of the larger announcement for the million plus are all new in this piece, and one existing shareholder participated in this smaller piece at the conclusion. So that was great. So we'll have some nice institutions declaring their positions over the next couple of days once we've issued all the shares and done the RNSs.
So this fundraising is all about moving forward with the Ampasindava rare earths project in Madagascar. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen now, Ivan? You've got the money. What's your next move?
So this money really will be very much focused on making the end of the submissions to secure our mining license. That's the next big milestone for this project. So it's kind of exploration, exploitation, and mining. So there's kind of three, and we have an exploitation license at the moment, and we're converting that now into a mining license. That requires a detailed pre-feasibility study, which we have completed already. We're just getting ready to submit it. There's other elements around the submission that we'll now get on with. A couple of other bits of housekeeping and stuff corporately, which we're pretty much through. So yeah, that'll be the focus for now. And then again, spending some of that money to raise awareness of the project. It's a very unique ionic clay project. This is the really the holy grail of rare earth processing is to have it in this formation. So we're super excited about that, and just getting a wider audience, which the placing has helped a lot with these new investors. They're excited about the investment, and they're very supportive for us going forward. So yeah, a big push now to just get the story on the scale of our resource, and that this is a mining project. It's not mining exploration, which I think I said four times the last time we spoke, but it's important. We're not exploring. We have a massive resource, and now it's just bringing it forward and moving it closer towards production. So that's really our focus big time. And we'll start to, certainly turn up at a few more conferences. We're going to go down to a conference in Perth in September, where I'll be present. The Minister of Mining from Madagascar will be there as well. So that'll be very nice. We'll share a stage together, and we'll talk about the project. He'll talk more generally about the mining environment in Madagascar, but we'll be there to talk about our project and with him. And so we're excited about that. And so I think lots of that sort of stuff, and there's such an awareness for the project, sorry, for the sector, especially in rare earth sector, rather specifically, that we need to get well positioned, and be in the front of that, and be in people's minds as a really good solution for this supply issue. So I'm going to New York next week, and we'll see some of our interested parties there, and just get around there and talk about the project, and talk about it there, because there's a lot of excitement, and they've been doing some very interesting things, the US, in terms of how they're trying to secure supply going forward with direct investments into MP materials, and potentially lending money to the critical minerals project in Greenland. So there's a lot of going, and it's moving quite fast there. So we want to get into that conversation and get our asset around those sort of names.
And what sort of timetable are we talking about for the development of Ampasindava then? Do you think you're going to be in production sort of in fairly short order? I know that's a very loose way of phrasing it in terms of the mining industry, but how do you see this timetable unfolding?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're very fortunate here that we're moving towards a mining license and also a mining process that is, relatively straightforward compared to, blowing up stuff and all, and all that goes with hard rock mining. So we have a much shorter lead time to get something going here, which is great. So I think, timing wise, it's about securing the mining license, and in parallel, you're obviously developing your more definitive feasibility study. We'll put up a pilot plant in the new year, and a laboratory, and then subsequently a pilot plant, just to really keep testing and processing and making sure that we're going to be able to do it the way we intend to do it. So, in addition to that, as en route to the mining license, which is the system in Madagascar, which we're lucky to be in, there's opportunities for waivers, as your mining license is being processed, so you can get some waivers to start doing stuff, on site, etc. So we're excited about that. But how quickly could it be put into production? With a fair wind and a good timing on the mining license, we could have production here within inside a year, or even maybe even a little less than that, which is pretty quick for these sort of projects. A lot of these hard rock projects and rare earths are going to take substantially longer than that, and they're going to have a lot more, likely to have more issues, just normal mining issues that we're not going to have a free dig, clay treatment process rather than a traditional mining process. So yeah, so I think we're very optimistic about the time frame of how quickly we get into production, and even smaller production sooner than that. To get into a scalable thing, but we should be able to get into some smaller production, even sometime in before the first half of next year.
Well, that's very exciting to hear about. Perhaps to close us out, Ivan, you could just recap slightly on the likely news flow from the company over the coming months. You've mentioned some of the items, I think. Just give us a little bit of a recap on what to expect.
Yeah, I think the submission of our pre-feasibility study as part of our submission to complete our mining license, that'll be shortly, I hope, we expect. I think there'll be other appointments we'll make on the advisory side to help us, put the company in the best possible position to give it its best options, particularly in the US. So I think we'll certainly be making some announcements about adding additional help in that area, and also specifically with the mining license in terms of some other advisory people that we want to bring into the mix here to help us navigate that. I think also there'll be hopefully more information about our investor base, which will become more evident when they make their declarations about their holdings in the company. So I think that'll be a nice sign to the market that we're transitioning out of, the RTO, and now we have institutional investors that are well recognized in certain jurisdictions and in the mining business. So I think those sort of things will be the shorter term things over these next kind of 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, congratulations on the fundraising today, Ivan,
Thanks so
and
much.
thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, nice to talk to you again.